Hi YouTubers, and welcome to the third story of the week from the National Secular Society, which I'm highlighting this week. Now, any opinions that I may make on this story will be my own, but of course the story is from the National Secular Society news blog. Okay, now this week, or today, we have street preacher fined for using abusive language after quoting Leviticus. This was posted on Monday the 23rd of March. Now, the street preacher, Michael Overd, has been found guilty of using threatening or abusive words after making homophobic remarks during a sermon delivered in Taunton High Street. Overd was ordered to pay £250 to a passerby who had been offended by the preacher's comments, and he initially refused, at which point Judge Shamin Qureshi, something like that, threatened the preacher with a prison sentence. He has been ordered to pay a total cost of £1,200. Now, Overd intends to appeal his conviction and said, "I follow my Lord and leader, so I won't tone down." The street preacher was charged with a public order offence after complaints were made by a member of the public that he had made homophobic and Islamophobic remarks. The sermons were delivered in June and July of 2014. Now, the BBC reports that the judge told the preacher he seemed to enjoy testing the laws on free speech to their limits. Mr. Overd was also told that he should not have quoted from Leviticus 20:13 when speaking about homosexuality, according to Christian Today, who also reported that the judge suggested there were other verses that could have been chosen if he wanted to talk about what the Bible said about homosexuality. Now, Judge Qureshi, I don't know how to pronounce that one, but also works with as a judge for the Muslim Arbitration Tribunal, which aims to help Muslims resolve disputes in accordance with Islamic sacred law. In an interview with Premier Christian Radio, Overd said that Britain no longer recognises the Bible. He said that his conviction sadly represented where the UK was concerning sodomy and lesbianism. He rallied against the liars, thieves, drunkards, fornicators, and, like his parents no doubt, and said that Jesus offended people and that Jesus was a very offensive man. Overd said, "We are all sinners. That is what the Bible says. I am as well." He added that God says Muslims and homosexuals were hellbound because they denied the truth of the Bible for breaking the commandments of God. The preacher said he was proclaiming the truth of the Gospels. Now, Mr. Overd was found not guilty on two other charges, which included causing racially and religiously aggravated harassment, alarm or distress after he made critical remarks about the Muslim prophet Muhammad. During the trial, one witness said, "I am all for free speech, but not at the expense of belittling someone." And another said that Overd had made defamatory comments about the prophet Muhammad. Right, the National Secular Society then made its own point, and interestingly, it's very similar to my own point as well, that it raises concerns about the trial's implications for free speech. And this is really the point of this. Yes, they've picked up on a preacher preaching in the street and saying things that other people didn't like. And although I don't agree with this particular preacher, and most people won't agree with this preacher because he is at least doing what he does, I would defend his right to say these things. Now, in the US, you have these, Westboro Baptist Church and things like that going out there. God hates fags and all this stuff. And they're not being arrested and fined, are they? The fact is, although I disagree with what he says, I will defend the right of him to say these things, because if he, it for one thing, it highlights what a dickhead he is, but and really, that's quite important. Uh, it brings it out into, yes, discussion, but a law against him saying those things, no. I think it's wrong to have fined this man, because once again, it's silencing free speech, and it could be free speech in the other direction. I wouldn't go out, obviously, and say those particular things, but highlighting the fact that this man does say those things, and religion says these things, and biblical statements and texts do say these things, is just as important. And highlighting the people that actually believe them is important as well. Suppressing them really just you don't get a feel for how their minds really work and how their indoctrination within religions work. And I, for one, find it disgraceful that this man has been fined in this way. Even, as I say, I disagree with the scriptural parts he goes on about, obviously. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm interested in your opinions, obviously. And I'll see you again soon. Peace.